All right, hello. Today we have a new knife to look at. It's a Kershaw Chill. It just came in. Again, bought used off of eBay. But that's no matter. I like my knives used anyways. It lets me deconstruct them and have a little fun with them before, getting something a little cheaper than otherwise. So I already jumped ahead and removed the clip because I got a little too eager. But here's what it looked like. It's this little guy here. And there was another Torx screw there. And this screw was in the back of the knife. And essentially, so because the clip rides so high, compared to like, I don't know, the 940 with a deep carry clip, I wasn't a big fan of it. So I wanted to take it off, and I managed to get the first screw undone with my T6 screwdriver. When I was doing the second one, I realized that it was really, really tight. And in an effort to preserve the bit, I just used my Dremel to cut out a little slot and then use a flathead screwdriver to just remove it instead. So yeah, then I got this off, and this knife is very, very dirty. So this is going to be a cleaning, a disassembly, cleaning, and reassembly to try to get it back into working conditions. So yeah, let's jump right into it. So the first thing I did was take off, other than the clip, was to take off this bottom screw here, which was interesting because the person I bought it from, I guess, had put on a Phillips head bit, which is like not what's supposed to be there. So when I reassemble, I'll try to use one of the Torx screws from the clip instead, so it's all continuous. The screw also stuck out a little bit, so that's why I know it wasn't quite proper there. But yeah, let's loosen up these screws and then see what happens. So I'll keep these ones off to the side over here with the clip. So I've never taken apart one of these before. And I've seen one disassembly of a Kershaw Chill a long time ago. But that must have been a different model because the reviewer there claimed that they were actually Allen bits instead of Torx keys. And they are now Torx. This is a T6 driver. So yeah. This knife is now discontinued by Kershaw, which is a shame because I think it's a really nice knife. Okay, this looks a little bit bigger than a T6. Yeah. Let me get out my other bits. Oops, I don't want those screws. Those were from another project. Okay, let's see what will work here. Too small. Not gonna work. Okay, T8 maybe? Yep, that seems to be it. T6 and T8 for this knife. These ones can go away. Usually I just use T6 and T10 because that's what Benchmade needs. And the overwhelming majority of my knives are Benchmade knives. Let's take it apart this way first. Okay, there's the top scale. Yeah, it is pretty worn. It's pretty worn overall, but then the clip especially has developed wear, which is pretty cool when you think about it. Ooh, there's the inside. Oops, just pivot bit. This is the locking liner side. Really, really dirty. And also this, the liner lock itself was pretty late and probably exerts a lot of pressure. So I'm going to probably try to carefully bend it in later. This liner overall is bent, actually, if you can see that. It's not quite straight, so maybe we'll try to fix that later. Maybe. Okay, I want to keep the washers secure. There's the stop pin. Here's the blade. The blade is pretty worn down in terms of sharpening, but that's no matter. This probably wasn't going to be a primary user anyway, so I was more wanted to just check out the model and have a flipper knife. So yeah, that's not looking too bad. Blade. Make sure everything's still in view here. There's the stop pin. There's one washer. Here's the other washer. They look like Teflon washers, which is probably less sturdy than something like a phosphor bronze washer. But nothing that's too bad. And already you can see all this gunk that's like falling out of the knife even as I just flip it over. Now, I thought these screws were just like the negatives. I guess the female bits is what they're called. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if screwing this will do anything. Yeah, it's mainly just twisting on me. So I don't really know how to remove this. Maybe just gently pry it apart. Leather and rebar. Sticking in one of these holes. Pry the backspacer off. Let's try a thinner flathead screwdriver. Maybe something like this. It's just caked with dirt. Obviously, the person before me used this knife quite a bit. There is the very likely possibility that I should probably just end up cleaning this before trying to... Oh, wait, no, this is getting me some progress. Remember when you're using a bit more force than, I don't know, than ordinary, you want to make sure that the forces are directed in a way that you won't poke yourself if something goes wrong or suddenly pops free. Been there, done that. Okay, nice. It just needed a little bit of encouragement to break off all this grime. Okay. There's the backspacer. Oops. And here's this side. I wonder if this will pop out from the scale. Not sure if the liner will remove itself from the scale. We'll see. It's part of the fun, isn't it? Not knowing everything before you begin. Okay, I can go like that. And my hands are just so dirty. I mean, I would like to get this all apart to clean it all better. But if I can't remove these two, then I could just clean it as one unit. Oh, wait, no, maybe. Oh, there we go. Come on, I don't want to break the G10. That would be really bad. At the same time, I would really like to get these two pieces apart. Okay. Almost? Nope. That was a bit premature. Oh, so close. Come on. Okay, there we go. And I didn't snap anything. Great. So I'm gonna use a wipe first, although maybe I should just take these to the sink. I don't know. So we'll see what a wipe does first. Maybe I should have just started with the sink, but I don't want to stop filming. I want the entire process to be documented. Okay. Yeah, look at that, just from wiping it down. As thorough a wipe down I can do. Let's move on to the liner. You know, one benefit of using a wipe instead of the sink is that I can show how dirty the wipe is after I'm all done. Plus, there's less risk of moisture getting under these liners and these, in between the liners and the handles and stuff like that. Okay, I guess that's about as clean as I'm going to get it there. Oh yeah, I didn't mention that all these pieces were sticky too. So they were really, really gone. Well, I guess that was apparent when I was struggling to separate the last two pieces. They were quite well stuck together. Maybe years of gunk and grime, only to be purchased by me off of eBay. The blade, just gonna be careful, obviously, and clean the blade. Oh yeah, so when I was trying to flip this earlier, I couldn't quite get it off of just the flipping action alone. I guess it was a little too gunked up to go just off of my finger strength. So the hope is to, oh, the backspacer is very, very dirty. So the hope is to clean this up enough such that I can flip it off with no wrist required. That would be nice. If not, I'll be kind of sad. But, you know, it is what it is. You don't know what you're going to get when you buy used. Well, you can sometimes have a pretty good idea. One thing that's cool about this knife is that it weighs very, very little. I like that the Kershaw had such a lightweight, affordable option. And I guess this was one of the things that I didn't really like about Spyderco, for example, where there are affordable options like the Persistence and the Tenacious are definitely heavier than their other models. But yeah, no, Kershaw was able to make this model quite affordable. I think they MSRP'd for around $20 or less. And yet it is, I think, 2 ounces. So that's remarkable. And look at all the skeletonizing that they did. Even on the liner, the lock side, which is really remarkable in my opinion. All right, let's see if I can just do a little bit of bending. Bending this more straight. Are both the liners bowed? Here's a flat surface. Yeah, this one's pretty bowed pretty heavily. You can see daylight through there. So let's bend it this way a little bit. This is probably not the best way to do it. Definitely not scientific or anything. It definitely has the potential to ruin things. But, you know what, I think that looks a little bit better. I can't really tell. Maybe I should have marked on the paper behind me where it was to begin with. I reckon that part of it could be that this lock bar is just applying a lot of pressure on the blade when it's trying to open, which could be why it was difficult to flick open by itself. So if we can alleviate some of that, then that would be nice. Okay, cool. Wow, it's quite dirty over here. So, oh, I forgot to clean the washers. Which is definitely an important part if we want the knife to run smoothly. Yeah, it's all just caked on there. Just trying to scrape some of this dirt off. Obviously, because it's not phosphor bronze, I can't quite polish it in the same way that I could with a phosphor bronze washer. Let's use another cloth and see if that might help us. I think that's about as good as I'm going to get. do it once over again with the liners. Before I start putting things back together. Okay, yeah, obviously it's not perfectly clean, but yeah. So now I have a strop with a little bit of compound on it. I'm just going to use it to polish up the inside of the liners where the washers rub against. Actually, I should have probably used stone first. Polish this area up. Obviously, a smoother surface has less friction, less like bumps and grips, things to contact with the washer. Plus, it's also just acts as a little cleaning. Okay, that's a little better. Let's start with the other side. Okay, just a little bit, because I don't really want to contact the top of the lock on accident. Yeah, okay. Let's begin the reassembly. Okay, so bottom plate, or I guess this goes next. Okay. Oh, let's polish off the blade too. Oops. Probably would have been a good thing to do. Well, we all have it apart anyways. Okay, so hopefully that alleviates some of the friction that's going to occur in there. Make it run just a little smoother. Okay. Really want to floss out that hole too. Okay. So then we need the stop pin in there. Okay. We're gonna want a washer. I guess I should. The pivot goes in through the other side, so I guess I'll just try to set stuff up and then send the pivot through. I don't know, maybe this will be like an axis lock and be really annoying to do that with, but we'll see. Can't be worse than an axis anyways. Okay. Nice. Everything's lining up. Oh, what am I doing? I forgot several pieces of important things there. Firstly, a little bit of oil. That'll definitely speed up the action. I mean, you don't want too much. But a light coating never hurt anybody. Probably. I think. That was a bit much, but that's okay. Okay. Nice. And this is just sewing machine oil. It's the oil that I use on all my knives. It's what I have. Yeah. We also need to put the backspacer in there. That's what I forgot too. So when I first watched the disassembly, I was like, why can't you just not use the backspacer? And the problem is that these pillars are not crowned such that like they're not like the stop pin. So they need the backspacer to actually separate the liners and keep the liners separate from each other. Otherwise the liners will just squeeze together and therefore the handles would. Which is not something that you want, per se. Okay, nice. And last handle piece. What's on top? Let's see if we can shoot that pivot through. Oops. Maybe if I disengage the lock, it'll be easier. Normally when I do full disassemblies, I put the entire body back together and then put the blade in, Benchmade style. But since this is an Benchmade and it's not an axis lock, I don't reckon that'll work very well. Okay, so the other thing I was probably, oops, drop the pivot. The other thing we can do is build it up from this side, and I think that's probably the way I should have done it. Oh, this is a D-shaped pivot. Oh, that's probably part of the reason why it's not working. I'm very silly for not realizing that earlier. But yeah, let's build it up this way. This way is probably the better way to do it. The stop pin is magnetized. Yeah, this is the significantly easier way to do it. Because, and this is actually a solid unit, so this can probably just plop down on top. Yep. And let's seat the pivot, and then let's work on the other guys. The other body screws. Everything in this guy's magnetized. Or maybe my bits are just magnetized. Okay. I gotta do the body guys. And some people like to use Loctite on the body screws of knives. A, I don't have it. B, I don't think I'll get it because, I don't know, I like to be able to take things apart and fiddle with them. You couldn't already tell by my content and channel. Did I cross thread this screw? It was taking an inordinate amount of effort to get in. I don't think so. I think maybe it's just tight and snug. Why is there a gap there? Maybe all my prying is to thank for that one. Maybe I'll just squeeze it back together. I think the last screw will fix that. Or I guess I hope that the last screw will fix that. We'll see. What? Okay. The screw isn't going down. Is it different from one of these guys? Oh yeah, it's much larger gauge. Oh, maybe that's why this guy was a little Phillips guy. But even the Phillips looks like it's too large of a gauge. I guess this knife is just short a screw. And since the back has a gap, I'm actually going to transfer that middle screw to the back. And then I guess I'll just have a screw gap in the middle. Or I'll just use like a missing screw in the middle, which is fine, I guess, by me. Yeah. Okay. So now we're back together. Now it's definitely a little tight. Oh yeah, it's much too tight at the moment. Use a T8, loosen this up a little bit. Ooh, there we go. Hey, nice. It's not too bad. A little bit of play, but I think that's maybe just a function of the Teflon. Wait, how did I do it? There we go. It's a little slow. I don't know. Part of me is glad it just works. Nice. Maybe this could actually go a little tighter. Maybe not. Yeah. Oh, there we go. That's one way to do it. Hey! It's actually very fun and satisfying. Oops. So the key is like generating a little bit of pressure beforehand. So either I can put my finger on this little point and then after I build up a little bit, then flick it down, or push it on the point and then push it, sort of generate the power up this way. And then at the last second, like change the pressure to go down this way. Oops. And yeah, that works too. I'm pretty satisfied now. Oops. Ha. Okay. So yeah, there is a little side-to-side play, but I don't usually mind that too much. Maybe it's a bit much this time. Let me tighten this a bit. Yeah, this was loose. Okay. That's better. But the front to back is actually pretty solid. Wait, is it not too tight for the flick? Or... No, it's not too tight for the flick. Oh. Obviously, like, I can use the wrist action, but that's not the point, right? There we go. Yeah, I don't know. A high-end flipper wouldn't do this, but, you know, where's the fun in a high-end flipper? Oh, and the centering is actually pretty good, too. Okay. So, it's a shame that there's just an empty screw hole there. Maybe I can plug it with this screw, even though it is higher gauge. Let's see what happens. I reckon it would just push the whole thing apart. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. It's not a good idea. Maybe I'll just plug it with some hot glue or something. There's just a hole there. So yeah, I think I'll just stick a drop of hot glue or something in there, so it's not just a hole. I don't know, the clip. This knife is also so thin. So yeah, that's definitely also an upside. It was a fun project. Such a cool little knife. Maybe I do keep the clip. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever use it as a clip, and at that point it just adds width to the knife. Yeah, I think I'll leave it off for now. Yeah, I can always add it back, right? So it's not an issue. Okay. So in the next video, I'll move on to sharpening this. So until then, bye-bye.